You're here because you want to lose 20 to 40 pounds, feel confident in your body again, and finally build a lifestyle you can maintain while eating foods you enjoy eating on a day-to-day basis and without spending hours in the gym. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video and how you can do that. Why I started working out and a little bit about my story. So this is a picture of me back in 2015 when I was 17 years old. This is my first ever progress picture. I took this picture after I'd already lost 20 pounds. I grew up playing ice hockey competitively, but I didn't get to the level I wanted. And that kind of threw things off in 2015. And 2015, I was overweight, I was out of shape, and I had very little confidence. I was the quiet kid for all of high school, and I just honestly felt like I wasn't living up to my full potential. And I spent majority of my time, playing video games, eating junk food after school, Pop Tarts, Coke, drinking root beer, eating a bunch of candy. That was my life, right? Very, very sedentary, and I could feel it affecting my life at the age of 17 years old. Growing up in a South Asian household, I also saw family members struggling with their health, right? Relatives, people around me. I'm sure you've heard it, right? Cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, having a fatty liver, all extremely common in the South Asian community. And honestly speaking, I didn't want that to be my future. And that's when I decided, I had to make a change and I had to live up to my full potential. Over here is my first ever transformation. So from 2015 to 2018, I spent working out by myself, right? Trying to do everything by myself. I was jumping program to program, doing endless amounts of cardio, trying fad diets, cutting out carbs, trying to cut out cultural foods, and nothing worked for a very, very long time. And this is when I decided to hire my first ever coach, was in January of 2018. And at the time, I was working 80 plus hours a week at Good Life Fitness as a trainer. So this is a picture of me at Good Life. This is me and my buddy, Kevin, back in 2018. And this is the first ever transformation that I had at the bottom. So I was about 200 pounds in this picture right here in the left. And then over here, I was 150 pounds. And this is when I competed in my first ever natural bodybuilding show. And I was working long hours, but I had structure, I had a plan, and I had accountability. And this was the first time I had all three of these things. And that's what actually helped me make that change and compete in my first ever bodybuilding show and get in the best shape of my life for the first time ever. After that, I did it again. And I'll explain what I mean. So after competing my first natural bodybuilding show in 2018, I shifted my focus to building muscle. And over the next few years, I gained about 30 pounds of quality body weight. But during this time, we had a little bit of a setback. So I had an injury on my lower back and I had some health issues, right? And I had to go through surgery. And after going through that surgery, I was on bed rest and I gained a significant amount of weight. And once I recovered, me and my coach, we implemented a plan, we had structure, and I took action. And I lost 66 pounds in 6 months. So this right over here is me at 216 pounds. And this over here is me at 150 pounds. And this is me competing in my second natural bodybuilding show at 150 pounds. So I competed in my second natural bodybuilding show after this major, major setback. And this was because I had a plan, structure, and I took action. So I realized, lasting results, aren't about motivation. It's about having a proven structure that fits your lifestyle. And it's something you're able to do day after day. With that being said, now this is my lifestyle. This is literally my lifestyle, and it is very easy to maintain. So today, this is how I look year round, right over here, after a workout. This is not for a photo shoot. This is not for a bodybuilding show. This is how I look like day after day after a workout. I don't cut out any carbs. I don't cut out cultural foods. I don't spend hours doing cardio every single day. I follow a super sustainable system that fits my lifestyle, right? The goal was never to get in shape once. It was always to build the physique that I wanted, build the body that I wanted, and have a lifestyle that I can maintain for the rest of my life. And this is the same system that I've used to help hundreds of South Asians, lose weight and keep it off forever. With that being said, yes, my physique changed a lot and my body changed a lot, but a lot more changed than just that, right? I stopped worrying about how I looked every time I walked into a room, right? I finally felt confident wearing clothes instead of trying to hide behind oversized clothes all the time, wearing baggy hoodies, baggy t-shirts. I stopped avoiding taking pictures and actually look forward to, vacations, weddings, and family events. And the confidence I built in the gym carried over into every area of my life, right? From relationships to my career and eventually building my own business, right? So literally every single aspect of my life has changed because I got in shape, right? And I got to my full potential in that area. These are some of the changes. There's a bunch of them, but I'll go through some of them. We have Krisharn, who lost 34 pounds and 11 inches off his waist in 24 weeks. He had some lower back injuries, knee injuries, no crazy dieting, right? Very, very sustainable. You could pause this at any time. Over here, we have Dia, who lost 36 pounds and 9 inches off her waist in 20 weeks. We have Jinder, who lost 53 pounds and 10 inches off his waist in 28 weeks. And during this period, he actually had a newborn at home, right? So he was working out twice a week. We have Anmol, who lost 75 pounds and 12 inches off his waist in 24 weeks. Busy entrepreneur, working 12-hour shifts, surrounded by snacks and takeout food. He actually owned a convenience store. We have Satvir, who lost 54 pounds and 6 inches off his waist in 24 weeks. He owns a construction company, so he's constantly driving around all day long, right, site to site, and very, very demanding, laborious job. Then we have Jot, who lost 38 pounds, 7 inches off the waist in 24 weeks. He was a police officer. He also had a newborn at home as well. We have Bobby, who lost 15 pounds and got abs for the first time ever in his life. He was a busy real estate agent, constantly driving around early mornings, late nights, and didn't even have weekends off. And then we have Gummo, who lost 35 pounds, 5 inches off the waist, long haul trucker in 20 weeks. And we have Rimmel, who lost 26 pounds, 5 inches off the waist in 20 weeks. He owned a construction company. We have Sartaj, who lost 40 pounds, 4 inches off the waist in 20 weeks. He was an accountant. And you get the idea. We've changed a lot of lives since we started doing this, right? 300 plus lives transformed. Desk job, physical job, parents, people who are single, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, home workouts in gyms, you name it. We've seen it all, and we've helped literally everyone and anyone. And that's why I feel so confident that I can help you with your fitness goals. Who is this for? So are you a busy South Asian? You've got work, unpredictable schedule, kids, whatever it may be, right? You've tried to do diets, working out, but haven't seen any results, right? Or you've done all this and you've seen the results, but you actually gained all the way back or even more, right? You know what you should be doing, but you can't seem to stay consistent and you always fall off, right? So you take action. Once you get the result, you always fall off and it's not sustainable, right? You want to feel more energized. You want to keep up with your kids. You want to feel confident when you see yourself in the mirror. And then also you want to reach your full potential, right? You're afraid of where your health is headed and you're finally ready to make a change because you don't want to be on medication or pills for the rest of your life. If any of this sounds familiar to you, you're in the right place, right? You're in the right place and I could definitely help you with your fitness goals. What was the problem? So the problem was never you, right? The plan was never built for your schedule or your lifestyle, right? Generic plans just as eat chicken and rice, right? You're gonna meal prep every single Sunday, day after day, and you're gonna eat that for the rest of your life. But that's not sustainable, right? You can eat dal, you can eat roti, you can eat rice, and multi-family dinners, right? And you just need a plan built around this. Also, you never had any real accountability, right? You knew what to do, nobody was watching, but whenever you missed, a work deadline or whenever you missed a workout, no one really realized, right? So it's very, very important to have accountability. That way, someone's counting on you, right? And you're going to take a lot more action, right? And then also, nothing adapted when life changed, right? A new baby, a new deadline, wedding season, you didn't adjust the plan. So we need to constantly change things as your life is going to change because life is never going to be the same, right? Day after day, week after week, things are going to constantly change and things are going to constantly come up. So we need a system where we could constantly adapt things. So here's the truth, right? Knowledge is not the problem. You know exactly what to do when it comes to losing weight, losing body fat, right? Everyone knows you should be eating better quality foods and you should be moving around more, right? Motivation is not the problem, right? You've been motivated before, but it always runs out, right? It is always going to run out. So the problem is a system, right? You have a system issue. You need a system that works with your lifestyle, not against it. And your culture is not the problem. Food is not the enemy, right? A plan that ignores your food is, right? I've ate dal, roti, any cultural South Asian foods, I've ate it, and I've gotten in extremely good shape, and I've competed in 2 natural bodybuilding shows, as I showed you before, right? So food is not the issue. It's the system that is the main issue. When we look at the system, right, we're going to build a system around these things. So number one, your food, right? We need a system where you could eat the foods that you enjoy on a day-to-day basis, and it's built around the choices that you pick, right? So nothing has to be removed from your diet. We just have to optimize the portions so it fits your body and your lifestyle day to day, right? You need a roadmap that is updated weekly. So everyone knows where they are, where they want to be, but they don't know the 100 steps between, right? And that's why we need that roadmap. And then also we need the accountability. So every single morning when I wake up, I look at all my clients' eating habits and the workouts for the day prior. And then based on that, I'll send you feedback, right? That way we're constantly improving 1% every single day. And someone's looking over your shoulder, right? So you have a lot of accountability. And then also it's going to be built around you, right? Whether you want to work out 2 times a week, 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, whether you're working out at home gyms or commercial gyms, whatever your situation is, we'll make it based on that, right? That way it actually fits your lifestyle. And it's something that you can do long term, right? It's not just a phase. And I know what you're thinking, right? I know what you're thinking. I get on hundreds of calls. The same questions always come up every single time, right? What if I've tried before and I gain it all back, right? What if I'm too busy? What if I have an injury or a health condition? How do I know you'll actually show up every single day? And what if it doesn't work for me? So I'll answer all those questions. So you've tried to lose the weight before and you gained it all back, right? So why is this going to be different? So number one, the plan ended, but the lifestyle did not change. And that's why you gained it back, right? So when we look at everything, we need that system to work for your day-to-day life. That way, once you lose the weight, it's very easy for you to continue. A lot of the times when people try losing the weight, they change their whole entire life. And once they lose the weight, they kind of go back to their normal schedule, their normal eating habits and everything. And that's why they gain the weight, right? So when the program ends, your habits stay. And that's the whole point, right? When we look at Jinder, he lost 53 pounds and he had a newborn at home. He had a demanding job and he's still able to maintain his weight loss and fat loss, right? I eat roti, dal, and rice every day. Do I have to give up my cultural foods? No, you don't have to give up your cultural foods at all. I'm 100% vegetarian and I competed in 2 natural bodybuilding shows and I was eating my cultural foods, right? The problem is never the food. The problem is not knowing what to eat, how much to eat, and when to eat it, right? So your meal plan is going to be built around foods that you enjoy eating on a day-to-day basis, and you're going to pick these foods in the questionnaire, right? And you'll still be able to enjoy, your life, right? Diwali, weddings, family dinners, because at the end of the day, your goal is not to be a professional bodybuilder or a professional athlete. So you don't have to go on some crazy strict diet where you cut out everything. We just need the foods to work with your lifestyle. I'm insanely busy with work and kids. How is this going to fit into my life, right? So when we look at everything, right, if you can work out 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, I'll make your program based on that. And the program is built around your schedule, right? And everyone's schedule is going to be a little bit different, right? When, Ajinder had a newborn at home, he was sleeping 4 hours every single night, and we changed his workout program. So before he was working out 4 times a week, but when he had a newborn, we dropped it down to 2 times a week, right? So we'll be constantly changing things up. And I've never met anyone with zero time, right? I've met people that have the wrong plan for their lifestyle. If you look back at my transformation over here, right, when I had my first ever transformation, right over here, right, I lost 50 pounds in 6 months, and I was working 80 hours a week as a trainer at Good Life over here, right? So obviously at the time I didn't have kids, but it is very, very doable. I've helped people have multiple businesses lose weight, people who have 4 kids lose weight, right? So a lot of the times it's not, a busy issue. It's more so of a structure issue, and you just don't know what to do or when to do it, and how to fit it into your lifestyle, right? And then also, I already know what I should be doing. Why do I need an actual coach? Knowing what to do and having a system that does it is 2 completely different things, right? So the gap is accountability, structure, and making changes week after week. You know what to do. You know you should be moving around. You know you should be eating healthier, but you're not executing it on a day-to-day basis, right? How often do you show up late to work? You probably never show up late to work day after day after day. Why, right? It's because someone's looking over your shoulder, right? And if you show up late to work, you're going to have a meeting with someone, right? So someone is holding you accountable to show up on time to work every single day, right? And that's the same exact thing with coaching. Someone's holding you accountable to your eating habits, your workouts, right? And that's what's going to give you the result, right? And that's pretty much the secret sauce. When we look at this over here, how do I know you'll actually show up every single day? Every morning, I review all my clients' eating habits and their workouts for the day before, right? And I'll send you a message. Every Sunday, I do a full weekly check-in going in depth through everything with all my clients. I've done 4,000 plus weekly check-ins. I've helped 300 plus clients over the last 5 to 6 years I've been doing this. And then also, I own 2 gyms. So this isn't something I do part-time. This isn't a random PDF that you're going to get. It's active coaching, and it's something I've been doing full-time for the last 6 years now, right? When we look at this, I've quit the gym before. What makes you think I will actually stick to it this time? When we look at you quitting the gym, right? You quit the gym not because you're lazy, because the effort you were putting in wasn't giving you the results that you wanted, right? One of my favorite quotes is, no one's tired when they're winning. I genuinely don't even remember where I heard this, but no one's tired when they're winning, right? Imagine you're putting in the time and effort, right? You felt more confident, your clothes were fitting better, you had higher energy, and you're losing 2 pounds a week. Do you feel like you would ever be demotivated or discouraged to go to the gym? No, right? It's only when you're putting in so much effort, right, and your results are little, then you start to think, kind of, what's the point, right? But when someone's checking on your food, your workouts daily, and adjusting your plan accordingly, and the environment is built for success, you're not going to fail at the gym, right? You're going to get the exact results that you want. So the system and the conditions that you had before is the reason why you quit, right? Which led you to not getting any results. So when you get results, you're going to continue to feel more and more motivated, and that's when everything's going to really, really start to snowball. When we look at this, what if it doesn't work for me, right? If you complete the program and you don't hit your goal, number one, I'll give you a full refund, plus I'll give you $2,000 on top of it. That way, the one time we work together, it was a good experience no matter what, right? Why does this exist? Because it forces me to only work with people I feel 2,000% confident and helping. And then also, if I don't deliver on my end, I actually lose money, right? This rarely happens, or this never really happens, because when you have the right system and you have the right structure and you have that constant communication, it's guaranteed to work, right? And communication is like the only requirement for you. So as long as you tell me what's going on, how you're feeling, we'll fine tune everything, and the program, the system, and everything will work, right? The real downside is not trying. The real downside is letting another year go by and you're stuck in the same body with the same energy levels and in the same position or even worse position, right? So that's going to be the video. I really do appreciate you making it this far, right? I'm looking really, really forward to our call. This call is going to be about you, right? Your goals and figuring out together whether we're the right fit. So once again, I appreciate you watching this video and I'll see you on the call. Thank you.